Hello everybody, Captain Oblivious Mist here. Yes, it is I. I have a face. I have a voice. Some of you may or may not know that this week marks the 1 year anniversary of the first video on this channel. And some of you who know me in real life know that other than things like Game Boys, games, I also like things such as the Titanic and, well, the Olympic and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I've liked them that much that I've spent the last year making 24 videos on ships. So, for what I thought would be a good idea to celebrate this momentous occasion, is to, well, do an updated version of my first video on this channel, the top 10 ships. So, yeah, let's get into it. Wait, I'm getting some serious deja vu here. So, some of you new to this channel who haven't seen my video on the Empress of Britain may be a bit confused on what this ship is. Well, a brief rundown is she is a Canadian Pacific liner built some point in the late 20s and early 30s. That was torpedoed and sunk in World War II, which that happened after she was bombed and somehow survived. So essentially, she took a lot of damage before she sunk, but that's not really important to this. Well, it kind of is, because it's one of the reasons why she's on here is because of the fact that I do like her. How well built she was, that she survived such a horrifying ordeal, and then finally sunk to a torpedo. God, can you imagine being the U-boat sunker? Yes, I scored jackpot. Mein Führer will be very pleased. Anyways, but that is one of many reasons why she's on here. But as I was researching for the video on the Empress of Britain, I realised how much her interiors were in terms of luxury. They were very luxurious, very, very stunning, very nice. Especially things like the Empress room. Holy smokes, that is... The pictures I saw of that is some of the best interiors I've seen in a ship. I also like her career quite a lot. It's very fascinating, but the thing that the reason why she's so far up my list is because of the fact that her career was quite short, and though the parts of the interiors that I can find, like photos of the interiors, are absolutely brilliant, there is a slight situation of, it's a very, very tiny one, of most of her interiors I can't seem to find photos of, so I'm mainly basing off of the photos we've got, and who knows, maybe the rest of the ship was rat infested for all we know, because we do know, but you know what I mean. So essentially, that's the main reason why she isn't as, on a higher spot on the list, but nonetheless, she does hold up quite well, and she is an absolute beauty of a ship. She may as well have been called the pride of the Canadian Pacific Line, because she was also the biggest ship they had ever owned and run. But anyways, enough blabbering on about the Empress of Britain. Let's move on to the next ship on this list. The RMS Baltic, second ship to bear that name, and she was part of the Big Four, which was a class of ships that was owned by the White Star Line, and for a brief period of time she was the biggest ship in the world. She has a very interesting career. She saved many sinking ships. She was even involved in the Titanic saga to a lesser extent. Her career was very eventful. She even actually was involved in something called the RMS Republic sinking, which is semi-interesting, as if it wasn't for that sinking, not as many people would be confident in the Titanic and lifeboats, and you get the idea. But anyways, this is not the only thing I like about the Baltic, even though her career is absolutely amazing. Her interiors are pretty sound, but the reason why I prefer her over all the other ships of the Big Four is because of her career. It's the only reason why. She has a pretty similar interior to every other ship, but the reason why I prefer her is because of her career. Because of the fact that, let's be real here, what ships had a career that interesting? You know, it's the only video where I actually enjoyed, in terms of, it took a while, because of the fact I was reading a bunch of different sources and I was enjoying the little tidbits about her that I was finding. She's a very good ship, very interesting. If you ever get 5, I do actually recommend watching my video on her. or literally any other video on her. She is a really good ship, very interesting. And, yeah, but her interiors help push her in this aspect, though. Especially the way that they designed them. I personally think that this ship is one of the best ships out of the entire of the White Star Fleet. She is absolutely gorgeous, just gorgeous. Anyways, enough blabbering on about the Baltic. We need to continue on with the list. So, on to the next part of the list. Now, this one may be a bit of a surprise with how far up it is now on my list, because beforehand this ship was ranked number 6, now it's ranked number 8. Well, there's a bunch of reasons for that. Start off with number 1. The more I look into it, though her interiors are still stunning and her career is remarkable, her interiors aren't as good as, well, say, the Campania or the Oceanic and many other ships at this point, and it's just one of those, I guess. Over time I have fell out of love with this ship quite a bit. But for those of you who don't know, the Mauritania was built in 1907, I believe, for the Cunard line, and was broken up in the 30s. She had a very long career and was sister ship to the infamous Lusitania. She actually held the blue riband for a very long time. I do actually have a video on her, which I'm working on currently. She's got a few difficulties with it at the moment, but we should be having that out soon. But anyways, enough of the video. Back on to talking about the Mauritania herself. She is actually a pretty stunning ship though, still. From the outside, she's very pleasing to the eye. And that's mainly what pushes her over the edge, personally, for me, over the Lusitania. I prefer the darker interiors of the Mauritania. And as well as that, on the outside, the Mauritania looks way better than the Lusitania. Just look at them, it's like comparing apples and oranges. But yeah, that is the main reason why. Her interiors are gorgeous, but from what I've read up on them, for example, the massive dome that's in one of her interiors, I think it's the dining room. Don't hold me to that. But essentially, in one of her rooms, she has a massive dome, and apparently, instead of making it look really bright and beautiful like it did with the Olympic class, the dome painted the room in a murky green, which I like the colour green, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's kind of something we want to go for in the Mauritania. But nonetheless, even with this revelation I've come across recently, she's still a stunning ship. As well as that, she had a very long and remarkable career, winning the blue riband very many times. Had the captain of the Carpathia at one stage, and most importantly of them all, she actually held on to the blue riband from when she was built all the way up until the late 20s, I believe, where it's finally snatched away by the North German Lloyd's Bremen. So, pretty impressive and pretty remarkable for a ship of her time. But unfortunately, she's fallen in terms of other ships I've discovered over time, so it's a shame, but still one of my favourite ships. Anyways, enough rambling on about the Mauritania. We now have to go on to the next ship on this list. Now, this ship has improved in terms of its position, unlike the Mauritania, and the reason for this was, well, mainly just the videos I've been watching and the books I've read about her. She is absolutely amazing. For the last vassal of the White Star Line, or she was, or one of, she is really impressive. I mean, let's be real here. It would have been even more impressive if we got the RMS Oceanic, but she herself is remarkable for the time she served. She has an amazing career, she's beautiful on the inside, I just absolutely love her interiors. Those of you who voted on my future videos may know I have a video planned on her, so stay tuned for that. She's just overall an absolute stunning ship. One of the best ships made by the White Star Line in my opinion. But if those of you who don't know this ship, she was built in the late 20s by the White Star, well, by Holland Wolff for the White Star Line, and she ended up being put into service, 30s, blah blah blah, had a very colourful wartime career, and was eventually scrapped in the 60s, and she was one of the very last in-service White Star Liners, if not the last, but she was absolutely amazing in her purpose. She did an amazing job, she had an amazing career, and quite frankly, she's very much, what's the word for it? She's very much overshadowed by other ships in the White Star Fleet, like the Republic, or the Titanic, or the Olympic, and, you know, it's a shame. She is an absolute beautiful ship, and in my eyes, she deserves more attention. But anyways, enough oogling over the MV Britannic. We need to move on to the next ship on this list. Ah, yes, the Campania. Such a beautiful ship, can I just say. She was on my original list, she was on my number 10 spot, but she has now gone up to number 6, and, well, I have a good reason. She has got to be one of the best ocean liners I've ever seen. She is just so beautifully designed, her outside is just gorgeous, she had an amazing career with a bunch of twists and turns. Seriously though, her demise, a perfect combination of all the things that could possibly gone wrong. But no, for those of you who don't know, the Campania was built by the Cunard line, well, for the Cunard line, and, well, was a part of the Cunard line, not for very long though. As soon you had things like the Kaiser class come in, so the Cunard built things like the Lusitania, the Mauritania and stuff like that. And she's a, well, often overshadowed liner, and it's a shame because she is absolutely amazing. I mean, the amount, like, she was an aircraft carrier, for Pete's sake. How do you go from a transatlantic ship to an aircraft carrier? Nobody will ever know. Well, okay, maybe if you watch my Campania video, you'll know. Hint, hint, wink, wink, watch it. But, yeah, she is such a remarkable ship. She had such a brilliant career, and her end, though, it was just a comedy of problems, and I absolutely love her for that reason. She has really earned her spot on this list. I mean, look at the size of her dining room. Seriously, when have you seen a 2-story dining saloon on a ship of the White Star Line? That is so luxurious, and as I said, she's just heavily overshadowed by, well, other Cunarders and most of the White Star Liners, and it's a shame, really. It is a shame. Anyways, enough blabbering on about the Campania. We do really need to move on to the next ship on this list. Ah, yes, the Queen Elizabeth II. Such a beauty of a ship. She is one of the very few ships that actually pull off the modern day cruise look surprisingly well. The background on this ship is she was built for the Cunard line by, I believe, John Brown and Company, same people who built the Lusitania and Aquitania, and the Queen Mary, and I believe the Queen Elizabeth. She still is around today. She's our hotel in Dubai, and let's just say, she single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, but she pretty much single-handedly saved Cunard from financial ruin. Essentially, during the mid to late 20th century, a little thing known as an aeroplane came around, and ocean liner travel kind of dropped off the face of the earth. So Cunard needed a new ship, QE2. And my god, is she amazing. She is just beautiful in every single way. Her funnel, mwah. Her design, mwah. Her bridge, mwah. Balances modernity with tradition just brilliantly. I haven't really seen much of her interiors, but to be fair, her outside look and her career just sell me anyways. That, like, literally, they're so good, right, that her outside look and her career has pushed her a spot on this list, and not just any spot, but number 5, which isn't bad, to be fair. It isn't bad. She is an absolute beauty, and she is, well, for lack of a better term, one of the best Cunard ships. One of, obviously, because there's like another few Cunard ships on this list. But yeah, she's just brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. And if I ever somehow get the money to go abroad, I plan to visit. I want to visit this ship. I want to go on a world. If I ever go on world travels, this ship is on my list of things to see. She is just a beauty, and the people who built her and designed her should be proud if they're still alive, which I heavily doubt, but you never know. Just a beauty. I should say the only time where she has actually, I would say that she hasn't always looked this beautiful though. She did have a weird looking funnel early on into her career, which looks looks ugly, and she also got painted a weird grey colour. Ugh. Anyways, enough about the QE2, as we're going to move on to the 4th spot on this list. Okay, I feel like this ship doesn't need any introduction, but I'm just gonna go ahead and give her one. This, folks, is the Queen Mary. owned by the Cunard line, built during the 30s, and quite frankly, I have a video that I am currently plotting out and working on. I've already done a video on it, which was Ghosts of Queen Mary. I've got another Halloween-themed video, which is basically going to be me narrating off ghost stories instead of debunking ghosts. I mean, why not? And second of all, I have actually got a Maritime Monday. Yes, very British. I've got a Maritime Monday planned on her as well, which I am going to start writing soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, she is an absolute beauty of a ship. I love her interiors, I love her exteriors. Now, this time last year, I said, oh dear, she's in a bit of a tight spot. A little bit of an update. She's open again! She's fine! She's running normally. That's good. That's really good to hear. But yeah. Literally though, as of recording this, she's been open for about a week or two, which is really nice to hear. But yes, she's back in working condition now. But yeah, she's just beautiful. Very good career. Her war career was personal favourite of Winston Churchill himself. So you're a good ship where the British Prime Minister thinks you're an absolute beauty, and the royals travel on you quite a lot. She's a really famous ship, though. Like, I'd say she's one of the most famous ships, right next to Titanic. But as you may know, though, she is not my favourite, as there are still 3 other spots left on this list. But so let's stop yapping on about the Queen Mary and go and talk about those 3 other ships then. This section here is for ships that didn't quite make the cut, whether that's because I preferred other ships or say I had a hard time choosing, and these ships, like, it was really difficult to choose this list, so I decided to put like 3 extra little ships on. It'll be less in depth. So technically speaking, this is my top 13 favourite ships. But anyways, on to the honourable mentions. The HMS Britannic was on my actual list proper and not as an honourable mention, and she was the sister ship of the RMS Titanic and the RMS Olympic. And the reason why she's no longer on the list is because, well, my justification wasn't clear enough, it wasn't good enough. As well as that, she didn't ever actually get a chance to fully push herself and reach her full potential thanks to World War I, and for her entire lifespan she was a hospital ship, and she didn't have a very long one either. Longer than Titanic, but still wasn't a very long lifespan, so unfortunately she just didn't make the cut. Still an interesting ship though, nonetheless, but anyways. Bit of a weird one. First of all, first time I believe a full-on battleship's ever been on this list. Like, not a ocean liner that's been converted into a battleship or anything, just a full-on battleship. Yeah, and the reason for this is, first of all, doing a bit of research one day in school. Was researching soldiers that died in the area, and one soldier, a navyman, died on that ship. Did a bit of research, blah blah blah, discovered the ship, and now I'm obsessed with her. She is absolutely adorable for a battleship. In fact, I get a sneaking suspicion if I do a 2024 edition of this list in a year time, we're going to be here, but she's going to be in like number 3 or something. She's absolutely adorable. Adorable and interesting. I absolutely love her, and you know what? She should have been put higher on this list, but the main reason why she wasn't was because of the fact I think just putting I want to hug her is not good justification to be put on a list. There's not really much to say on this one, other than this is another one that made it onto my list previously, but just about missed it. And reason why is, well, she just about missed it to the Empress of Britain, because I prefer the Empress of Britain's fate in terms of how she went out. It's a lot more comedic. That is literally it. As well as I think the Empress of Britain has slightly better interiors, which is the main reason why the Nomadic lost out. As I said though, she was really close to beating the Empress of Britain in terms of ranking, but unfortunately she did lose out to that. She's a surprisingly beautiful ship still though, very interesting. And for those of you who don't know, she is the tender for many White Star ships and, well, many other ships. But some of these include, or the most notable, Titanic, Olympic, and I believe the Queen Mary and the Normandy. Don't hold me to those two, though. I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, she's currently in Northern Ireland, Belfast. Anyways, on to number 3. Similar to on my original list, I very almost put the Titanic in this position and not the Olympic. And the reason why is because the Titanic got me into ships, and her luxurious interiors and stuff like that made me fall in love with them. But see, that's when I realised most of those photos, and I remembered, isn't of the Titanic's interiors. They're of the Olympics. So I didn't fall in love with the Titanic, I fell in love with the Olympic. And let's be real clear, the Olympic has a lot more interesting career. Like, if there was ever an unsinkable ship, I don't care what anybody says, the Olympic was unsinkable. she smacked into everything and everyone, and she survived. Unfortunately, she was eventually broken up, but we don't talk about that. But no, seriously, she had amazing interiors, and it's a shame that she's often overshadowed by the Britannic and the Titanic, as her career is one of a kind. Just absolutely long, gobsmacking amazing. Just amazing. And, well, quite frankly, between the Mauritania, the Lusitania, and the Aquitania, and versus the Titanic, Olympic, and Britannic, the Olympic class would win because of the Olympic alone. That is it. The Olympic is the best out of the entire Olympic class, and it's a shame she got scrapped. But just beg to differ. Just to make you think, like, I wonder what it'd be like if we had an RMS Olympic as a hotel, similar to what we got the Queen Mary. Alright, bit off topic, but that'd be amazing. I would pay to see that. Anyways, back to topic, as we're going to be moving on to the number 2 spot on this list. Okay, this is probably a controversial one, as this one has been ranked higher than the original Mauritania, but yes, I prefer the second Mauritania over the original. And yes, I prefer her over the Queen Elizabeth. Yes, I'm aware they look pretty similar on the outside, but I don't care. I love her still. She pulled off the look way better than the Queen Elizabeth. Same goes with the Queen Mary. The Queen Elizabeth's ugly, and I don't care what anybody says. Oh wait, this is the top 10 ships, and I'm doing Mauritania 2. Anyways, back to Mauritania 2. Yes, for those of you who don't know, this is the Mauritania 2, built by the Cunard Line as a little operating vessel to go between, to act in like service when the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth weren't available for their duties. So, yeah, not really much to say. But what I like about this ship is her interiors. Well, okay, maybe not our interiors. So from what I've heard, her interiors are pretty similar to the Queen Mary's. Problem is, slight one, I can't find any photos. So that's a slight situation we got there. So the main thing that's carrying her is her career and her outside looks. And her outside looks carry her alone. Okay, forget her career, her outside looks carry her alone. But then you have the fact that she was a remarkable ship during wartime, and you gotta add bonus points for that. So together, those two are the reasons why the Mauritania is on this list. Yes, sounds minuscule, but quite frankly, when you look into it, you'd know what I mean. Hint, hint, wink, wink, done a Mauritania 2 video, go watch it. I feel like this video is slightly but surely becoming one big plug for my channel, but anyways. anyways, I digress. Yes, I do prefer the Mauritania 2 over many other Cunardas, and to be fair, she is worthy of the title of Best Cunarda from her outside looks alone, and her career. Anyways, let's get on to the big number 1 spot. So, first off, if you didn't notice this, then no offence, you're either blind or stupid. I mean, first of all, she literally appears in the thumbnail. Second of all, look around my channel. Just take a 5-second look around my channel. Seeing it yet? Yeah, she's plastered all over the damn thing. So no offense to you, but if you didn't get this one, then you might be a tad bit stupid. But hey, it looks like we're all stupid together. But on to the reasons why I love her so much. Let's get into number 1. She is absolutely beautiful, alright? She is beautiful with massive interiors. Very spacious for the time. But the best thing is she isn't overwhelming like you sometimes... Like, she isn't as overwhelming as many other ocean liners. She's like ship enough to tell you're on a ship, but not too luxurious to think you're in an art gallery, and that is amazing for that reason, because she pulls off so expertly. And I believe she was one of the very first ships designed by Thomas Andrews. How interesting. But yes, she is the second ship to bear the name Oceanic and was built in 1899, and the very first Allied ship lost. Which brings me on to a reason why I like her so much, is because of the way she went out. She just proves that no matter how strong your navy is, they're still susceptible to incompetence. Oh dear. But yes, this is why I love her. She is plastered over everything. I have models of her, books of her, mugs of her. Hell, my channel icon, my intro, my outro, everything is Oceanic based. She's appeared in every single video so far. She is beautiful. Her two long funnels look adorable, and she is the absolute perfect ship. Pride of the White Star Line. Best ship ever made, and you know what? I will probably remain like that till the day I die, unless they make another Oceanic. Please do. But anyways, that's it for this list, so on to the epilogue. And that is it. That is the updated version of my top 10 favourite ships. I'd just like to start off by saying, though, thank you for all the support that you've shown me over the past year. It is very much appreciated. Another thing I shall announce is I'm also planning to do a rebrand of the channel. Can't remember if I announced this in my Oceanic video, but yes, I do have in plans to do a rebrand. Well, not a rebrand per se. So my channel icon, more in-depth analysis of it. My channel icon is a bit dated. And by a bit dated, I mean Jesus. It took me all of 5 minutes to make when I made it. It was just like a quick, need one, quickly get it done, and I got it done. And same with my intro. It's literally just a fade in and out it's a fade in animation with the Georgix horn. And I did not put much effort into it, so I am going to be doing a remake of, I'm redoing that at some point. Well, I'm not doing it, but you get the idea. There's going to be a new icon and a new intro soon. So stay tuned for that. When that's going to happen, though, don't know. Could be next month. Could be the month after. We will see. We will see. All I know is, as well as this, I am actually working on another project to celebrate my 1 year anniversary. That should be coming out some point next week, hopefully. Let's just say it's another remake of a video that hasn't aged so well. So, you know, if you can find that video and you can guess, then I will give you a shout out. There we are. If you can guess the video I'm doing a remake of, I'll give you a shout out. But yeah, that is it really. Thank you everybody for all the support. It's been a pleasure, and I can't. Other than things like Game Boys, games, I like things such as the Titanic. And, well, I've held that the wrong way, which is ironically enough, because I did something very similar my very first time trying to do with it when it was something like this.